Welcome back to Cards on the Table. We're at the Belfry Hotel in Birmingham. We're in the company of a former goalkeeper for Wolves, turned Sky Sports reporter and pundit, Matt Murray. Good of you to drop in, Matt.
Absolute pleasure.
We have to talk about refereeing from two different perspectives. You've seen it from a goalkeeper's perspective, and now you're viewing from the press box perspective. What's your view on the current standard of refereeing?
I think it's pretty high. I think it's a very, very difficult job, and even when we talk before we go on air, when we're on air we can't agree, we've got different opinions, and a lot of it is left open to interpretation and of the laws. And also I think it can be a little bit of a generation thing as well, because the amount of times people say, well, you know, I only played, maybe I'm retired now, I retired 4 years ago at the age of 29, but a lot of my mates are still playing. But there's a lot of players who say, well, you know, only 10, 15 years, played 10, 15 years before me. Well, in my time, that was a new contract, you know, that was a great tackle. Come on, it is a physical game, it is a contact sport. The rules are changing all the time. But personally, someone who's suffered injuries, I think now the rules are there to protect people from stupid tackle. I think people made a career of just stopping people in, for me, illegal ways, you know. And so I like the way of excessive force. I think those rules should be in there. People work so hard, it's their dream, it's their career that could be ended in a silly tackle. So if you ask me, I think the standard refereeing is very high, but I just think because there are literally 20 cameras all around the place that can zoom in at all different angles, can do it at all different speeds, you can pause, play, all those sort of things make it, you know, some decisions look a lot worse than they are. But I know that at the speed of it, when you're playing in goal, hard to call things. And even when we've watched it back 10, 15 times, was it in the box, was it out the box, all those things are so hard.
Some pundits can be quite scathing, can't they?
Yeah.
With the benefit of all these 2 or 3 views, and they don't make their mind up immediately, and then with the 4th viewing they decide the referee's got it wrong, and then they really climb in and give him a good kicking. I'm not referring to any individual or any TV channel, but that can happen. But is that fair?
I think it's unfair. I think, one, we haven't refereed, so, you know, sometimes you don't always know how it feels, and you're talking about positioning. So sometimes as a player, you understand actually why a player has done a certain thing. Does that make sense? So as a goalkeeper, I think, oh yeah, he should have saved that, but there are a lot of reasons why he hasn't saved it. And for an official, yeah, maybe he should have made the right call, but there could have been something that happened. Plus, it's hard to tell. The human beings, at the end of the day, things happen so quickly. Can you trust player reaction? Even that's something you say, go for. Players lie all the time. I'll appeal for when I was playing, I'd appeal for every single throw-in. Loads of them aren't. I'd appeal for offside. Probably no, it isn't. You know, so you know, end of the day, players have to take it on the chin that it's football. And I like the referees that you can talk to, who come back to you and say, do you know what? Yeah, you've made a few mistakes, I've made a few mistakes, and I coach as well. So I'll say to my players, it's very, very rare. Well, look, a referee or an official can have an influence on the game, but they don't decide the outcome. There's a lot more mistakes made by the players. So I know it's very, very difficult, and I think when pundits hammer players sometimes, or hammer referees, look, you've got to give your opinion. There are certain things. So there are a few decisions that I think, well, I just do not understand where they're coming from. I think some things aren't black or white. You know, there's too many grey areas, so it is open to interpretation. The one, for example, I think when the ball's played up to somebody, they're in an offside position, the defender stretches to head it, the player that's in the offside position the ball is clearly aimed for hasn't touched it, so the linesman doesn't give it, and then it puts the defensive team in trouble. Then other linesmen might, you know, officials might flag for it because the ball was going in that way. So it's open to interpretation. They're the things I don't like. But as I say, when you've got the aid of the camera, it still sometimes doesn't even clear it up. So then you realise how hard the decision is.
How much do players generally know about refereeing and the laws of the game?
I think the laws of the game are, you know a lot of them, but for example, my team played the other day. The goalkeeper.
Just tell me about your team, just briefly. Yeah.
I play for the Nike. I coach the Nike Academy. I don't play for them. I coach the Nike Academy. We've got lads from all around the world, under 21s. We play other teams. We were playing Dagenham and Redbridge the other day. They had under 21 stroke first team players, like fringe players. The goalkeeper for Dagenham and Redbridge took a free kick, passed it, and the defender took that in the box. It hadn't even left the box. So I've shouted on, ball hasn't left the box. So obviously, and the ref blew up and said, you know, you've got to retake it. Pretty well nobody knew that the ball had to leave the box from a goal kick or a free kick that was in the box. They didn't know that. So you got all these people who played the game for years and years and didn't even know that rule. I had to clear something up with the referees that are in St George's Park. They were based there all the time about the back pass. So if the defender back passes back to the goalkeeper who messes up, jumps on the ball, people think that should be a sending off because it's a deliberate handball. But no, it's the goalkeeper handling it in the box. Now, I didn't even think it could be a yellow, but the referees told me, because if it's really bad sporting behaviour, you can get booked for that side of it. So there are rules that you're not sure about. Where does it actually become a back pass? Which part of the body? The intention, the handball thing. People aren't sure about that. That's open to interpretation again. So I think people have a good idea, but I don't think they're, no, even offsides, people aren't totally clear about what it is. So yeah, there's definitely some grey areas.
You were telling me once that you've been on coaching courses where you have a competition, for instance, shown a clip, is that right? And what would you give if you were the referee? How many of those do you get right?
Well, it just provokes a debate, so it's brilliant. And because, you know, when 3 points are at stake, win bonus, everything else, people's jobs, you often look to the referee as a sort of scapegoat and saying, well, that was a decision that changed it. So what the referees do, they come in, talk to us, try and clear up some of these rules, let us know about things, and they run some clips, stop it and go, right, and we've got a whole group of 30 ex-pros, some big names, and say, right, is that a red card, is that a foul, is that a yellow, is this, and nobody can agree. Nobody can agree, so we've all, and the referee just sits there, doesn't say anything, and you've got to say Premier League, full internationals, top managers and everything, no one can agree. So then actually you think, you know, we can't even agree here, with replays slowed down, everything, and everyone's giving their reason why it should be, shouldn't be. No, that player was going to cover, and no, he'd never have got there. That was deliberate. No, it was accidental. And it's just that for about an hour and a half. And you actually go, do you know what? These guys have a really, really difficult job. They do a great job. They only see it once with the quickest players, the quickest speed in the most high-profile situations. You know, Premier League, Champions League, World Cups, whatever. Very, very difficult. And then you go, you know, I can't even make the right decision to five-a-side in training, so fair play to you, I'll let you crack on.
Can I assume it's a job you would never do or would have considered doing?
I wouldn't be able to keep up with play. I think in a way maybe it would be nice if some ex-players did go into it, because they've maybe been in the situation as a player and they might be able to use that.
They understand the mentality of football.
Yeah, sometimes challenges and this and that, but then I think it comes with experience. I imagine the best referees have done it from a very, very young age. You know, started like footballers do at grassroots level. Imagine a lot of the top referees have.
It's an attractive career now.
And you,
financially.
yeah, and look, you play, you're officiating and making big decisions in the biggest stadiums. You know, on the biggest stage. You travel around the world, and you know, I imagine it's a very, very good career. But it's high profile, it's high pressure. But the one thing I would say is, and this is the thing I really do believe, and one of the main reasons why you always say the odd thing to a referee. I would never swear at a ref, never hammer them, maybe give them a little bit of banter, but is I think they always make the best call about what they see. I would never question the integrity of any referee, any official I've ever had, whoever officiated in a game I've played in, or my teams have played in. So I think they do a great job. So they're doing what they see, and that's the thing. And I like the referees personally, because that's how I saw it. That's the reason I've given it. And you go, do you know what? Fair enough.
Okay, well said. You made the point earlier that the interpretation of the laws is different now in respect of contact, and there is criticism that it's suddenly become almost a non-contact sport, which isn't the case. But you can get a foul or a yellow card or even a red card awarded when a player wins the ball first. But if he's coming through like a train and takes everything, ball and man, you're saying that's a good thing, having been an injured player more than a few times.
I've had injuries, and people, you know, if they play for Manchester United or whatever, those guys are young people who've started out their career. Parents probably driven them everywhere. They made a lot of sacrifices, and it's their dream to play at the highest level and play the best they can. And for somebody to just fly into a challenge recklessly and finish it is wrong. You know, it is wrong. And what they're saying is that, challenge, make a hard challenge. Yes, it was a physical game. These guys work in the gym like you wouldn't believe. They're very, very powerful. They're very, very quick. But when you're jumping in with a 2-footer challenge and you're out of control and you're flying and you're risking somebody's livelihood, somebody's career, someone's dream, somebody's asset as well, because clubs pay a lot of money for these players. In every way, it is wrong. And I think that people should be protected, that the referees should protect them. I don't like diving, I don't like all those sort of things, but I think players who try and do someone, and I think maybe the sanctions should be even stronger, because it seems weird that, you know, certain things don't have the same punishment. Do you know what I mean? Like a red card for, you know, like it's an aggressive challenge, but then you get other ones that are proper leg breakers, and they're both for 3 matches.
Both 3 matches. Yeah,
they're the things you feel that should be maybe dealt with differently. But I just can't get my head around, especially with all the cameras are on now. But you see people back in the day who really did top people, and no, don't like that.
They were the hatchet men in the game, but they were considered euphemistically as characters.
Yeah, and people talk about it, and they're sort of held in a legendary sort of.
They're talked of with affection.
And the players that played in the day said you knew you'd give it and you took it. Look, play hard, play fair. You know, if the ball's there, I expect a full challenge. But it's the cowardly ones, and when people just go, you know, these are big guys, quick guys, and if you break someone's leg, you know. Or do their cruise ships and things like that, which can happen. It's heartbreaking with a person on the end. My injuries happened, just I was unlucky. But if they'd have happened to me because someone had proper done me, it hurts me enough as it is, but I accept that it's a sport and these things happen. But if someone had just done me and I had to retire, then I'd have had a lot of anger and been very, very bitter towards that player.
You have very clear and forthright views on the way the game should be played, Matt and referee. Do you bring those consciously into your reporting for Sky Sports, and try to be fair to referees in the way that you comment?
I try to be fair, and you look at things, and I know that they're given sort of guidelines. If they're not sure, they should go with the attacker if an offside and things like that, and you accept that. And things go for you, they go against you. But as I say, they're trying to do the best job they can. I see the guys, how hard they work at St George's Park with their fitness, keeping up to things. They'll be watching the media. I think that is a bit I think happens, that they watch the media, and they're human beings, so they then form an opinion on people. So there might be tackles, and I think it was a while ago, Ryan Giggs did a tackle, and the commentator said, "Oh, that's not like Ryan Giggs. He wouldn't have meant that." And I think it was Matt Letizia, who was a co-com, and said, doesn't matter if it was Ryan Giggs, that tackle is worthy of a yellow, and it doesn't matter who it is. And you wonder how much that gets into the referees, that they see Suarez or Joe Barton do something, but then they see a player that is perceived as being, you know, a good guy, if you like, and you might get away with it. But I definitely try when I do my media, when I'm doing my coaching as well. I think that's a big thing. So I knew when I played grassroots level all the way through, if I chirped back at the ref, my manager would take me off. If I swore at the ref, you could ask him a question, but if you treated him the wrong way, you'd be taken off. So that was sort of instilled into me. And also, even at first team level, Mick McCarthy, people like that, natural human nature, if I'm chirping in that ref's ear constantly and hammering him, and the decision is 50-50, he's probably going to go against me because I've annoyed him and I've wound him up. So they very rarely change their mind. You ask them in the right way, but they'll look at things, but they've said doing what they see. So what's the point? And you're a role model for kids, and I hate seeing that as well when people are proper in the ref's face, because I think it's bad for kids to watch. So I try and give them the best I can. You've probably got loads of clips of me now slaughtering the officials.
We'll be trying very hard.
And I'm sure refs get back like players doing the parade. You know, look at them, God, I got that wrong, I didn't feel this and that, which happens. And it's, you often say, I don't, some decision you think, how did they come to that conclusion? But there are loads where you think, that was really, really tough for the people out there.
Matt, good points, well made. Cheers. Thank you very much for talking to us.
Thank you.
Cheers.